What's up, Yankee Nation? Welcome back to the channel, your one-stop shop for everything about our New York Yankees. Before we dive into the hot news that's shaking up the Bronx, I gotta ask you for that favor that makes all the difference. If you live and breathe Yankees baseball like I do, smash that like button, and most importantly, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. I bring the inside scoop and the deepest analysis. And you're not gonna wanna miss a thing, trust me. Let's get right down to it, because Friday night against our longtime rivals, the Boston Red Sox, brought a mix of euphoria and pure dread that needs to be broken down with the detail it deserves. We walked away with the win, a 9-6 final, built largely on the back of a monster first inning where we put up 5 runs, basically putting the game on ice from the jump. It was a solid performance, cementing our spot at the top of the division. However, the one moment that had every single fan in the stadium and at home holding their breath happened in the second inning. Our starting shortstop, the heart and soul of our infield, Anthony Volpe, got drilled by a pitch from Walker Buehler and had to leave the game. The sight of Volpe clutching his elbow was one of those heart-stopping moments, especially given the spectacular season he's been having. The initial word on the injury was an elbow contusion, and the seriousness of the moment was underscored by him being immediately replaced by Oswaldo Peraza. When a player of Volpe's caliber and importance leaves a game against the Sox, your mind automatically goes to the worst case scenarios. How many games would he miss? Were we looking at a trip to the injured list? Thankfully, to the collective relief of all of Yankee Nation, the update that came down after the game couldn't have been better. Our manager, Aaron Boone, in his post-game press conference, delivered the news we were all desperately waiting to hear, and his tone was one of genuine relief. He said, and I quote, "Good news! The x-rays and scans were negative, so he's back. That elbow contusion. I used to get a lot in the minor leagues. A little stiff and sore, but hopefully nothing that will keep him down for too long." That statement, my friends, is absolute music to our ears. It means our shortstop escaped any structural damage, any fracture or issue that could have derailed his season. A bone contusion, while painful as hell, is a day-to-day thing. It's an infinitely better outcome than any of the alternatives. The pitch that got Volpe was an 88-mile-per-hour changeup that just got away from Buehler. It was clear there was no malicious intent. It was a bases-loaded situation. Volpe was deep in a 2-2 count, and Buehler was trying to make a competitive pitch to get out of the jam. Unfortunately, the ball caught Volpe square on the left elbow protector. The painful irony is that Volpe was on his way to another huge game, having already driven in 2 runs with a single back in that 5-run first inning, which pushed our lead to 5-0. He's the engine of our offense at the top of the lineup and the anchor of our defense. To lose his energy, his gold glove caliber defense, and his speed on the bases for any extended period would have been a devastating blow to our aspirations. Now, the focus shifts to treatment and recovery. He'll spend some quality time in the trainer's room making sure the pain and swelling go down so he can get back in that lineup as soon as possible, maybe even as early as the next game in the series. Friday's victory puts us at an impressive 39-23 on the year, building a comfortable 5.5 game lead in the American League East over the Rays and Blue Jays. Our offense continues to be a dominant force, ranking 3rd in all of Major League Baseball in runs scored per game, a testament to our depth and resilience, even while weathering the temporary absence of Juan Soto. The news that Volpe's injury is not serious is therefore the biggest win of the night. Keeping him healthy is absolutely paramount to the long-term success of this ball club. Every win counts, but keeping our core of young stars intact is what will ultimately determine whether or not we get a shot at a ring in October. Alright, let's switch gears and talk about something every baseball fan loves: trade speculation. And a rumor that surfaced recently is one of those that makes you stop everything and just think about the possibilities. It's bold, it's expensive, and it might be exactly the kind of aggressive, all-in move that defines a champion. A trade proposal, detailed by Jake Ellman of Athlon Sports and building on an idea from Chris Rose, suggests the New York Yankees could acquire another elite starting pitcher, targeting none other than Chris Sale from the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, you heard me. Chris Sale. At 36 years old, Sale isn't just a veteran. He's one of the most dominant pitchers of his generation, the youngest player in MLB history to reach the 2,500 strikeout mark. And according to the hypothetical scenario in the article, he'd be the 2024 Cy Young Award winner with 96 strikeouts in 13 games and a 1.39 ERA over his last 7 starts. Those are true ace numbers. The proposal would, of course, come at a significant cost. To pry a player of that caliber from Atlanta, the suggested trade would send one of our most valuable prospects, Double-A Somerset outfielder Spencer Jones, the other way. Jones has been a dominant force in the Eastern League, a player with immense potential, often compared to Aaron Judge because of his size and raw power. So the central question is this: is it worth sacrificing such a promising piece of our future for an immediate, albeit elite, upgrade to the rotation? Let's break it down. Our starting rotation is already one of our biggest strengths. We've seen brilliant performances lately, like Max Fried's gem against the Cleveland Guardians, where he allowed just 1 hit over 6 innings. Carlos Rodon has also been on fire, dominating those same Guardians with just 5 hits allowed over 8 frames in a 3-2 win. With Garrett Cole as our undisputed ace and the rock-solid performance of Rodon, Fried, and others like Nestor Cortez or Clark Schmidt, we already have a group that can go toe-to-toe with anyone. However, in baseball, and especially in the hunt for a World Series title, you can never have too much quality pitching. Adding Chris Sale to this mix wouldn't just be adding depth, it would be creating a super rotation. Imagine a playoff series where a team has to face Cole, Sale, Rodon, and Fried in succession. It would be a nightmare for any opposing lineup. It would be a statement of intent, a checkmate move that would instantly position us as the absolute favorites. Sale's contract, valued at $38 million, is a hefty investment. But for a team like the Yankees, with the resources and the win-now mandate, it's the kind of investment you make. From the Braves' perspective, the trade, while painful, has its own strategic logic. The report points out that their offense, despite being loaded with talent, has been sputtering. Trading an expensive veteran like Sale for a young, controllable, high-ceiling talent like Spencer Jones could be a way to reinfuse their lineup and ensure long-term competitiveness, even if it means taking a step back on the mound in the short term. It's a bet on their future while we be betting everything on the present. The MLB trade deadline is July 31st, which gives us time to assess our needs. But this kind of opportunity doesn't come around often. So let's wrap this up. First, the fantastic news that Anthony Volpe appears to have dodged a serious injury is the biggest win we could have asked for. It keeps our team strong and on the right track. Second, this bombshell trade idea for Chris Sale gives us a lot to chew on. It's the classic dilemma, the promising future of a top prospect versus the near certainty of immediate, overwhelming dominance on the mound. Now, I want to hear from you, Yankee Nation. How did you feel when you saw Volpe go down? And the big question, would you pull the trigger on this trade? Would you give up Spencer Jones to bring Chris Sale to the Bronx and form one of the most feared rotations in recent history? Drop your comments below. I want to see the debate. For more exclusive news, in-depth analysis, and the fastest updates on our New York Yankees, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on. The season is heating up, and you're not going to want to miss a thing. Let's go, Yankees!